He cooking chicken, no seasoning. He be dabbing for no reason. This is me and my white friend. He ain't white, he just light skinned. He sent the pics when we ballin'. Police come around, he gon' do the talking. No stalling in his credit score, awesome. Nah, for real, you got like a 720. Me and my white friend. Me and my white friend. Me and my white friend. Me and my white friend.
All right, y'all. Welcome to episode 14, Behind the Gate. Super excited to have my two friends on, both Greensboro based. They have a highly successful sketch comedy show. We're going to talk about how that started, hear their backstories and everything. Reggie, Thomas, so excited for you guys to be on the show.
Andrew, thank you.
Thank you for having us. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's get right into it. Sketch comedy show. Give me a brief overview of it. The name, just go from there.
So we are me and my white friend. Make sure I put the T on that because a lot of people are like, you and your wife's friend? Like, no, me and my white friend. And we started back in 2019. And
well, actually, 2000. Yeah,
really
2009.
like, the idea was like 18.
18.
Yeah. The idea was like 2018.
Late 2018. Yeah.
Yes.
And were y'all both living in Greensboro at that time?
Yeah, we were actually both working at the radio station DVC Next or DVC Dick Broadcasting. Reggie was working for DVC Next, which was their digital department.
Digital marketing.
And of course, I was on air with Jared and Katie in the morning as Hugs a Houlihan.
Shout out to Hugs.
Doing crazy stunts and on the street stuff. And
he was the comedy relief.
Yeah.
So Halloween he was buried alive.
Yep.
Every Thanksgiving they would put him in a turkey suit and shoot him with paintballs and just a whole bunch of stuff. He was the comedy relief. Period.
Right. And I just did whatever they told me to do. I was like, okay, whatever. That's fine with me.
I remember listening. I've obviously 107.5. Like he grew up here.
Yeah.
Like, what is Thomas? What is Hugs doing today?
Right. Intern Hugs.
Yeah. So Reggie, he started working there 2016. I started working there 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And we just kind of hit it off, blossomed this friendship because every day he'd come by the office. Hugs, what's going on, man? What's going on? How you doing?
And remember he's the comedy relief, so the digital department was actually new. They really didn't have a digital department.
Okay.
So I was doing like almost all the camera work. So when we would send him out, it would just be me and him going to do this stuff.
Right.
He played Valentine's Day. You were like Cupid in a diaper.
Right.
And
I was going around UNCG.
Just in drawers, underwear.
Like just you in a diaper.
Yeah. It was like a underwear, but it was like I had the heart and I had the whole bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I had the whole.
So it would be me and him
setup.
just going out, and I had already had an idea to do like a sketch show, and we were like,
And we did stuff back then that we could not do today. For instance, one of my first Halloween, 2012, I was an intern, and they had me going trick or treating on Halloween at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I went and I knocked on doors at 6 o'clock in the morning saying trick or treat. Yeah. Today, you would get shot.
Yeah. There's still people that are cussing you for that.
Yeah. Probably.
Still to this day.
Probably.
I hope they see this and they're like, I forgot about that son of a bitch.
Yeah. I'm going to get that motherfucker.
All right.
So
we met at the radio station.
Yes.
Right? And the friendship blossomed. You ran around in a diaper. You were shooting. So talk about how that got you to where you guys were with the sketch comedy. Like, what prompted, hey, let's shoot an episode? Right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Well, we have to be honest with everybody. It really started with, hey man, you smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, I smoke.
Yeah. You
So,
smoke.
well, come on over. You know, like
Yeah, that's how the friendship
That's really how
blossom.
So we
At first,
rolled up.
As many friendships have started.
At first, we just work friends, you know what I
Right.
mean? But then
Reggie rolled up once we started puff passing. I mean,
that's when that after hours
was-
work time came. Yeah. But
yeah.
to answer your question, like how did the comedy come and part of it? Like I said, we were just doing most of the content for the radio station, and then like I said, I know I had ideas that were outside of the PG-13 for the station. You know, he had ideas, and we were like, well, you know, if we're gonna shoot, we want to just like shoot it together, you know.
Well, let's just come up with our own skits.
Let's just do it. Let's do it ourselves. And I guess I think maybe a small piece of us was thinking like, well, we put something together and we'll get it on the station. Maybe
Right.
Maybe a small piece of us was thinking that, but the name came from we went out. Well, Tom, he wasn't with me this night, but I went out to Fat Tuesdays. We met some girls. They were actually some plus size models, like 2 of them. Brought them back to the house, me and my boys. You know, they were like, "What do you do?"
Y'all, we are 10 minutes into this episode, and I can tell you right now, it's gonna have the parental.
Yeah.
If you made this far, mute the rest of the episode. For the kids.
Two plus size models. Me and my boys brought them back to the house. We chilling, And then so one of the girls was like, "Yeah, you work at the radio station. What else do you do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, me and my white friend are coming up with a sketch show and And she was like, "That's what you should call it." We were like, "What? Me and my white friend?" She was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You can use that. I won't sue you." And so next day I told him at work because we were like the Black and White Show.
Reggie and Marv.
Yeah,
you know.
Reggie and Hug.
Reggie,
And then
yeah.
we were thinking like, nobody knows me. Nobody knows you. I mean, they know us locally. Like I was honest Reggie on air. But
For marketing, oh hell yeah! I was
Clickbait.
like,
Clickbait.
absolutely.
We were like,
me and my white friend. How
Yeah.
can you go wrong with that?
Yeah. So we went with that. And of course, everybody always asks, well, why do you say me and my black friend?
Yes, I'll
Well,
let you get this one.
Yeah, I answer that for the black. The black community is very sensitive when it comes to black and white relationships. So it couldn't be me and my black friend because that would have been like me. Might as well say me and my boy, or me and Toby, or me and my slave, or me and whatever. You know, I'll just let you know how. I'll just let you know how black folks think. So we had to make it. Me and my white friend. I love how it just.
He's uncomfortable. He's uncomfortable.
Well, no, it's let me tell you why. All right, this is.
He's about to walk out. He's about to
Like I'm
walk out.
breaking a sweat.
So I was
It's hot here.
turning on my. I went to the gym this morning. I was turning on my iTunes, and I'm a big Eminem fan. And he dropped a new song with Big Sean,
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's called Toby. And when I originally saw it, I was like, "Where are they going with this?"
Right.
And the
Yeah,
first
like,
the
whoa.
first line of the song is like, Toby Maguire was bit by a spider.
Ah.
I was bit by a goat. So they're
Got
like
you.
making a reference on Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
and how they got bit by being a
Okay.
goat. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay.
okay, I see
Not
what they
Toby
did there.
from Roots.
Yes.
right. Right.
It's like when
Yeah.
you brought that up, I was like, that has been relevant to my day. You know?
Right.
That's funny.
All right.
That's
Anyway.
funny.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, that's how the name came about. And yeah, we just started going from there, you know. We
Right.
started putting it together from there.
So y'all, my like next question over here I was going to ask was like, bring it back to the inspiration of the show. Mm-hmm. And what I'm gathering is it's kind of the inspiration around a lot of things in life.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting around passing a blunt, and you took home some plus size girls.
Yes,
And-
yes.
Yeah.
Not me. I had a girlfriend at the
Oh yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
excuse me.
He had
Reggie
just
Now my
started-
wife, yeah.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
you were not there.
Yeah, I was
allegedly.
not
He
there.
was not there, yeah. That's what we told him we were gonna say, right? You were No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
But in all seriousness, like you guys have kind of already answered this question, but outside of what we just discussed, what was there any other inspiration for the show? Something
Yeah.
that pushed you to like really, really want to do this?
During that time, and you can piggyback. and
Yeah,
tell me if I'm
it's
missing
kind of,
anything.
it has since the beginning of the show. It has stayed the same, but it also has evolved in a way. and so really we want to bring people together through comedy and music. Basically, that's because season 1 we had every episode we had a musical guest. For
Local artists.
Yeah, for season 2 we're going to do the same thing. We're going to reach out to some musical artists. So if you're watching this and you want to be on episode 2,
Season
hit
2.
us up.
Yep.
So-
Yeah, he's exactly right.
Yeah.
It started, just as let's do comedy, but during that time period, it also was a time where the elections were going on, like right before 2020, and so it was even more division during that time. So, like you said, our whole mission, if we have a mission statement, it is to bring people together through comedy and laughter. Once you start. We cannot be so sensitive about, certain stuff and stereotypes and laugh kind of like the comedy in the 70s and the 80s.
And let's face it, we were both, everybody in this room was born in the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of that Richard Pryor. We got a little bit of that Gene Wilder. We got a little bit of the old school George Carlin, Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
And then we also grew up with the best SNL cast, in my opinion: Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Farley. Then recently, Key and Peele. Key and Peele's a big one that we were kind of like,
that was our like who do we want to emulate, and so we want to
as
take
far as
pairs,
right.
So we've been taking a lot from. Like you said, Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, Cheech and Chong, Key and Peele, all those, even the Dave Chappelle show, even though it was just him, we were looking at all those for inspiration. And like we said, just to bring people together. When people can laugh together, you kind of get over, color of skin or any kind of differences. There's more that brings us together than separates us. So that's our big mission at the end of the day.
I love that. And I think comedy can do that.
Yes.
I love the musical aspect of that. And it immediately made me think of Chappelle's show.
Right.
Because, that when that came out, that was just like, man, the Prince skit with the waffles and just like the whole, like that was it. To me, that was like a game changer for comedy and television shows like that.
Yeah,
I know there was a lot of stuff before it. But I love how I still remember him and Mos Def in the car, just Mos Def going off the cuff.
Yes.
It just gave a different element to the show. And I love that. And I also love that you guys aren't afraid to look back at that and those greats who have done well. We all want to have our authentic selves, but I think it's so important to be able to look at the people before that have done great things and just hilarious shows and great stand-up comedians go, hey, we can learn from them. We can utilize that while we put our own spin on it. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Exactly, Andrew. Yeah, you have to. I feel like I think it was Da Vinci or somebody. It was like good artist copy, great artist steal. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I was watching something.
We have original content.
We have
people.
original content.
But
But
y'all's content is original.
Yeah, but we do get inspired by
But
pieces.
at the same time, there are formats. If you study if you
blueprints.
study film and you study television, there are formats.
Yeah.
And just like keys on a piano or notes, there's only so many notes that
right.
you can use.
That's
So
right.
people are going to use the same notes.
Yeah.
They're going to use the same melody. Or at least they can sample the melody.
Every pop song can be played on 3 chords. Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love that. Yeah. So we've got the inspiration. We've got how you guys came friends and brought that all together. Episode 1 to now, and correct me if I'm wrong, to over 100,000 followers on Facebook. And other platforms and whatnot.
Yeah.
So take us from that first episode, the brainchild of this, bringing people together.
Yeah.
And, obviously there's probably some fear and faith conversations around that, as with any content.
Yeah,
But one episode to 100,000 followers in season 1. Let's talk about that.
Oh, man. I feel like we have always stayed true to, if it makes us laugh, then then we're winning.
Yeah, that is.
If
that
it
is our
makes
motto.
us laugh, and we would just think of different scenarios. I mean, and just kind of go back and forth. What do you think about this idea? Oh, this would be funny if you did this. And for instance, one of the skits in season 1 is
Don't say the N word.
don't say the N word.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say it.
And then also, there's lots of them, but don't say the N word. And Reggie's like, all right, you're about to meet my crew. Now remember what I talked about. Don't say the N word. I'm like, come on, man. I've never said that before. I don't know what you're talking about, you know? And so.
And I'm like, I've heard you when you listen to rap songs, you know? But that was probably our most popular one. But like you said, we just.
And then we also did one with like student loans.
Yeah.
Where it was like a dramatic, like the
Scary
student
horror
loan
movie.
people keep on calling, you know, like.
Yeah, horror movie type feel. Yeah.
So.
But the process from episode 1 is exactly what, you know, Marv said, just putting the ideas down and then shooting them. You know, we were a lot of guerrilla style. Season 1 was very guerrilla. Like,
Yeah.
everything came out of our pocket. We weren't really thinking about a budget or anything.
A lot of improv.
Yeah, a lot of improv.
A lot of improv.
Like, so you have your ideas and you just put it out there. So season 1, we finally, basically, we were only maybe like 1 episode ahead at first.
Yeah.
We were shooting like every week. Like, it's not like we had 5 episodes and then we like,
Oh, no, we were
shooting each week just
Yeah.
about. And finding artists and shooting their music video. All the music videos you see in season 1, we shot them, everything. And season 1, our results were okay because YouTube is like one of the hardest platforms to grow. We just got over 1,000 on YouTube.
And what really gave us a boost, shout out to 2 guys named Chris and Jared and Katie in the morning, but only because they mentioned us on their shows.
And
I was going to say, like,
that-
what was that turning point where you're like, man, we're grinding.
Oh, we were the talk of the radio station for a hot minute.
yeah, and we had to make sure. So a lot of people thought, like, we really did not work on our show on the clock.
Right.
That was once it was 9 to 5, and then after that extra time is when we got on it. You know,
Right.
and that's something I would, you know, anybody that has aspirations for anything, you know, do your day job. But if you do have creative aspirations, make time for it, you know.
Make time
for it. And us getting together between, you know, a blunt here and there and putting out ideas, it got done, you know. Now, to answer the question on going from like no followers to over 100,000, we actually had to kind of shift our content. So, you know, we had our season, but what got us big first, we have the most followers on Facebook now, but we actually went viral on TikTok first. Okay. And that's what really kind of kept us going. Like once you go viral once, then it's like, all right, we got a little something. And we went viral on TikTok. And so
Now, was there a specific clip of a show, or was it a whole show that
went viral?
Yeah.
It was actually just a sketch of the popcorn was the first one.
Yeah,
right?
it was a sound, a trending sound.
It was
that
a
we
trending
used.
sound on TikTok. That's like a Asian sound. It's like, now I know what's real, what's fake. Do 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 do. Very like weird sound.
Yeah.
But it was popular because it was called like hood TikTok. It was a fad that was hashtag hood TikTok. So you had a lot of people doing like a lot of hood stuff to this silly, childish sound. So what we did, we had some popcorn, and then we had on the title like teaching my white friend how to eat popcorn with hot sauce or something like that. And we had Texas Pete, shout out to Winston-Salem. We had Texas Pete hot sauce, pouring it in there, and we were just like slow motion eating the popcorn. He's like, and then, you know, what you realize, stuff that goes viral is stuff that people relate to. So we had like thousands of comments of people like, oh, I put Texas Pete on my popcorn. I put jalapenos in my popcorn. Oh, you need to try this. And then we were like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, this is cool, you know? And then so that first one that went viral, we just was doing small skits after that, like 15 seconds, you know, here and there, 30 seconds. And that's what got our numbers up on TikTok first. We went from like 500 for a long time, and then it boosted us like 20,000.
And then the second video that really went viral, which I still think is funny, is the one where I'm waiting for my black friend.
Oh yes,
and it's like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I try to call him. 30 minutes.
When my black friend says he's around the corner, and then and then we have different times, and he's just waiting, and again, everybody's like, you should have just stayed in the house or whatever.
Right.
So
a lot of comments because
black people are known to be late, I guess. We on CP time.
CP
That's
time.
what it is. CP time, color people time. So that one just really took off. I think that one had 1 million.
Yeah.
That was our first like million views. You
Yeah.
know, and that one again just
When 1 million views.
Yeah,
That's,
a million.
That's incredible, man.
That one actually hit 1 million, but when it went viral on Facebook, I think it hit 3 million. 3 million. We started seeing M's on the views.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay,
wow.
Yeah. That's when you're like, wow.
It's crazy how quick that.
And the
can
thing
happen.
is that Reggie put a big emphasis on this, is that you got to respond. You got to like your comments, respond to people. The more engagement that you have, the nicer the algorithm is to you. A little tip and trick there.
Yeah, he did just tell a little.
so-
That's a jewel for any
That's a
content
jewel.
creator.
So engagement is
Even late, we found out like sometimes the video may start slow, but if we have like 3 comments and then you respond to each person, and I try to do what they do, like if they just give us emojis, we're just gonna give you emojis back. If they actually type something and say something, we try to type something and say something back. But like I said, you notice with the algorithm and you respond, then it'll push the video out a little bit more, and then respond. Push
I like
the video
that
out
kind
a
of
little more.
mirror response.
Yes.
Like somebody who tries to push content out. I don't have none of my videos hit 1 million, but when I research it, it's like, how do I properly do this?
Mm-hmm.
You hear people talk, you got to respond, you got to engage. But I've actually never heard that, kind of mirroring. But it makes sense though.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
Yeah.
like any situation when you're trying to engage with somebody, there's a level of, if somebody's screaming at you loudly, you're probably going to talk loudly to them too. Or if somebody's like sitting down and they're like, hey, you're not going to be like, whoa, yeah. You got to kind of match their energy a little bit.
right.
Yeah, and then people take it, personal, especially if they take time to say something, and then you add their name, like, thanks, Larry, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I've seen people, and then they respond back. They want to say more because, even when perception is everything online, so even when we're, which we'll probably get to, sleeping on an air mattress and not really doing it big, but in their eyes, we are doing it big because this video has 1 million, and wow, these social media guys responded back to us, So it is effective, and the algorithm does appreciate it on all platforms. I'll say that for Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, even YouTube. When you do respond, it'll give you an extra kick of views. You know?
But not only are we doing it just for views or likes or whatever, but if we genuinely like
like the responses,
engaging with our audience, because when they relate, it makes us feel good. Kind of like, oh, we made somebody laugh, we made somebody's day.
Yes. Yes. Those
We
are the
could have
best
changed
comments.
somebody's day by them watching our show or content or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Those are the best comments, when it's like, you guys are hilarious, you made my day, or even if we don't post in a while, somebody, where you guys been? We missed you.
Right.
That stuff does, like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to your mission of the show. Even if you're helping one person's day, like that's still bringing people together.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
100%.
Of course.
So that's a great segue. We've kind of touched on this a little bit, but let's get back to creative process.
Yes.
Take us
Yeah.
through it.
Okay.
It's hard to answer this because it's not the same every single time.
It varies.
It varies.
It does vary.
So my creative process is, I think it's individual, and then we come together.
Yes. that is true.
So because Reggie currently lives in California, he lives in LA currently. I'm here, and then we'll travel back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I might call him up one night and be like, "Hey, I saw this hilarious skit. Here it is.
And what's the first thing I say?
Write it down.
Write it down. Put it in your
Write it
phone.
down.
Take a note.
So
You can't trust your memory. You
Yes.
can't trust it.
No.
You can't.
So I've been in the habit of writing ideas down, and then of course we have Google Drive. So we have a folder in Google Drive, and we go in there. We look at different sketches that we've come up with ideas, and he'll do the same. And then like yesterday, he's in town. We went to lunch at Bonchon, one of our favorite spots.
Yes.
For lunch, lunch meetings. So.
Bonchon is solid.
Yeah. So we went there and we went through season 2
Yeah.
Sketches and what the plot was about, and
Yeah,
for
went through
each sketch.
each episode and kind of said, "Oh, that's still relevant," because we wrote it. We put down what the ideas for it a few years ago, and so much has happened in between that time and trying to produce season 2. That's like, okay, this sketch doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
But
And I will say this is that I don't need it. But a little smoke never hurt anything.
yeah,
with
we
the
do
creative juices.
Yeah, honestly, some of our best business ideas and conversations either come in the car or we're just driving,
Right.
going somewhere, or like I said, we meet up, put one in the air, and get to talking, laughing, and like put it in the phone. And then for me, anytime I get an idea, whether it's like late at night or whatever, like I tell him, I put it in my phone. So like we go up on this, these are all skits, notes,
wow. Yeah.
just skits, ideas that we've had.
Sketch. I mean, just
Sketches, yeah. I mean, everything is sometimes
yeah.
it's like stand up stuff or whatever, but and then we'll put it down. And then the other side of it is, especially with how TikTok has changed the game. So by the time that we got in the game, TikTok was not big yet. And if you notice now, you got YouTube Shorts, you got Instagram Reels, and all that really stems from, and Facebook Shorts, that stems from the TikTok format. Mm-hmm. Now, whether
The
TikTok,
short
the
content.
short content, the way it designed, all the platforms implemented it. And thankfully, like we said, that's where we went viral first, right? So what I would do, I'm more of like the social media guy who's like on it often. So a lot of the stuff we do are sounds that are already created, right? Just taking somebody's sound and then making it funny. And so we have a whole lot of sounds saved in our drafts, like of different sounds, and so the church stuff that we do and this and that are sounds. And then we'll write down a list of the sounds. So, and every time we get together, now that we both were in LA, and then he had his second child, and they wanted to have the baby with the same doctors and be back home. So now when we get together, we try to shoot at least 15 to 30 skits. So we're a few months. If we put out one sketch a week, we're still pretty consistent. And but like that's the process. Is just if see something funny that we can use, save the sound. If you have a skit, jot it down, and then when we get together, we just do it.
And I think that I know. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but I think that we get not necessarily a pass, but it's like, if our ideas, it's just not like I'm like a lone white guy saying it.
Yeah.
I have my black friend to back me up, or vice versa.
Yes,
So working together and balance and having that balance really helps kind of drive that message without, I guess,
crossing any lines, because he'll ask you outside, because if he has an idea, like you said, race and color is still a sensitive subject,
It is,
right?
yeah.
So just like the name, like I said, it couldn't have been me and my black friend. You know what I mean? Like, so some skits, he'll bring them to me. He's like, "What you think about this?" I'm like, "Nah, hell nah, we can't say that." And vice versa. Sometimes he's like, I can't do that, man. You know what I mean? So we respect each other's, creative, boundaries. I'll say that we have
Right.
creative boundaries and just cultural boundaries. Like,
Right.
that's, are people a little sensitive about that? Let's, we can't use that one or whatever. But
Well, some would say you guys are discussing, and I don't, not knowing what any of those particular instances were, where you were like, and you were like, we can't. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that those conversations happen in a healthy environment that come from understanding each other.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it just goes
Definitely.
back to bringing people together.
And we've never, I've not told Reg this, about a month ago we were talking on the phone and I said, I'm really appreciative to have a business partner and a creative partner where we don't, it's seamless. We don't argue. We've never argued. We've never really gotten into a drag out fight or anything like that. It's just, and that's, I can't say enough of like, that's really, that is tough. And it's
and it's been a lot of growth, I think, on both sides, outside of the comedy, just real life.
Yeah, because I've had two kids, and it's like you're a dad, Andrew. I'm a dad, so we both have that understanding of it's hard as fuck to be a dad. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. Excuse my language, but it's super hard to be a dad and
we
a
already
husband.
dropped the parental advice.
And, and a husband and a business owner and this and that, and you still have parents and family and
speaking of that, shout out to Ashley, First
oh
Lady,
my
his
gosh.
wife, Mrs. Marvin,
Yeah.
because
if it
not
weren't
too
for-
many women would let their husband fly across the country and for a couple weeks
At a
to
time.
film sketches,
Yeah.
especially before the money is flying in.
Right.
When it was the beginning and there's nothing.
Yeah.
You just gotta. Everybody's wife isn't that supportive. So
Yeah.
we gotta
Yes,
give
I'm
Ashley,
blessed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her credit. And,
We are blessed.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
are blessed.
Yeah,
I call her I was like that's my first wife, because she without her support it wouldn't be us. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like shout out to Ashley.
which I wouldn't have a wife. So
Yeah.
If, I'm just saying, like, if I was with somebody and they didn't support me, I would say, see you later.
Yeah. Yeah. But just in general, kind of back to what you're saying, the growth, just in general with, me dealing with a white man on a regular basis.
Oh, man.
And then him dealing with a black man on a regular basis. And then some of the real life discussions we've had, like when Black Lives Matters was going on. And, we've had some discussions that he just was asking. He didn't understand certain stuff.
And I feel like I don't know how you feel, Andrew, but I feel like I have been ignorant most of my life. And here's the sense, here's why I say that. It's because we were born in the 80s, mid 80s, and we grew up in school in the 90s. I have always had black friends. I've always had friends from other cultures and backgrounds and stuff like that.
I have it. I don't fuck with Nick now. Just like
And so, anyways, what I'm saying is that I've never experienced that outwardly racist or racism or anything like that. So, especially as an adult, with 2020 and the Black Lives Matter movement and
we were in California,
the
then.
diversity and not the division. I'm like, what changed? Did I miss something growing up? And to be honest with you, I did, because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know, that having a best friend that is black has educated me on things I didn't know. And
I think it's human nature, and we did grow up in a different era than a lot of the folks older than us, and I think it's human nature to see things through the lens you're used to seeing them. Mm-hmm. And that lens for you and I was a world that didn't have as much division.
You're right. We were friends with everybody.
The people we grew up with at the same time, and this was a big thing that I had to realize in myself. It's like I still don't see it through that same lens, and so it's not. I can't comment on it. You know, everybody.
Right.
I think through all that, everybody wanted to have an opinion, and that was my big aha. Like, I can have thoughts, I can have feelings, but I can't truly address how I feel about that because I can't put myself in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know how that feels.
And that's where, like, when people talk about privilege, maybe that's the unspoken privilege that I never knew I had, and the fact that I'm like, when I'm driving down the road, I'm just driving down the road. I'm not worried about, even though I will say every time a police officer does get behind my vehicle real close, my butthole clenches just a little bit.
Right.
But that's psychology.
Yeah.
That's psychology.
Would that have anything to do with the fact that there might be a blunt somewhere?
might be riding dirty. All right.
Like, oh,
I mean,
crap,
hey, allegedly.
Right.
I just had a session.
And you were in
No.
California, so it's
Right.
legal there.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but-
Yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head.
You know, and
Where it's like-
yeah.
Where you said like it's privilege. Maybe you didn't even know. Like I don't know, maybe if we don't like this part, you can cut it out.
Okay.
But when I knew that we had really, or he had an aha moment on our perspective, we had a conversation. It was during the Black Lives Matter. You remember this? You might remember this. We just finished an episode that we talked about it. And Marv he was kind of asking me about it, how I feel about it. And it's hard to explain, but I basically was like, you being black and raised in America, you kind of know you're taught what it is early, right? You're forced to grow up in certain areas early because you realize how you're viewed in the world, right? And explaining it to Marv, I kind of tell him like, certain stuff. It is what it is. Like I read in one article once, they talk about how people who have a lot of tats before tattoos were popular, it's similar. They have an awareness of somebody like of color, where you kind of can go in a room and you kind of can feel when a lot of people looking at you and this and that. And I'm like, I was telling him like, this ain't a tattoo. Like I can't have it removed. This is who I am. So I've been living with this the whole time. I know what it is, my perspective on the world is going to be different. And when we had this conversation, I mean, Marv kind of just broke down and cried, you know what I mean? Like we were just talking, we embraced each other. And then that was one of the moments like, we're growing as friends, as humans, past the comedy, past the jokes, past the what we aspire to be, entertainment. That was a real moment of, okay, I know he sees me and I see him. And I know this guy that I'm working with has a heart. He's genuinely, and that's why I rock with him, because I'm good at feeling energy. And from the day one at the radio station, he's always been a good guy, just a good human being, So that has a big part of how we even started in the beginning too. Now the double back in the beginning like that, him just being a good person, that's what is a big part of everything we do as well.
Yeah, and maybe I'm wrong in this. We're having a real conversation, and you kind of hit on this right when we got started. I'm sure when you're talking to friends and family, and same thing that are the same race, like, what do you tell us about what's going on? Well, I'm starting this sketch comedy show with my friend Thomas called Me and My White Friend, and you're like, well, I'm starting this sketch comedy show with my friend Red. It's called Me and My White Friend. I think that you probably got more like, ooh, okay. Yeah. Versus like, oh man, that's awesome. I can't wait to see it. Right. And again, maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe that's an assumption.
Well, every time we do say the show name to new people, it's always a laugh. It's always a chuckle, like and then maybe it's blended in with an uncomfortable chuckle too. Like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, most time it's a good chuckle.
Yeah,
and then people are like, well, what do you guys do? Like, what is that?
Like, what's
what does
it
that
about?
mean?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
And I have gotten a couple of questions of, well, how come you don't call it Me and My Black Friend?
Oh yeah, you're gonna get that. Yeah, we get that often. How you call Me and My Black Friend?
So
I I was going to say, you guys have probably had to answer that quite a bit.
Yeah, many times.
Season 2, we talked about how you just showed your plethora of ideas. What can a fan that's watched season 1 and been rolling with you guys, what can a fan expect with season 2? Is it, you said you're dropping some things, bringing some things. Are there new characters, new formats, anything like that? And from a production standpoint, like when can we start seeing? I know you're dropping your clips and everything, but when can we see season 2 drop?
Yeah.
Tentatively, we're shooting for the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, January, February.
And I'll say that season 1, like Reggie said earlier, was very guerrilla shot, shot, and kind of, we were shooting this episode and editing and putting it out, and it was kind of as we went along. Season 2 is going to be more structured. The production quality is going to be a little higher, with as far as like camera, sound, and more structured as in scripts. Actually writing lines down, putting in characters.
Anybody that follows us and you did enjoy season 1, just know it's going to be the same format. We're still going to give you a collection of sketches. We still plan on having a musical guest. We're going to add some things like on the streets. So some stuff we will film in LA where we're talking on the Hollywood Boulevard.
We're coming for you, hot Chewy girl.
Yeah.
I was about to say, there's a real popular one right now that came on the street and just got spit on that thing.
Well, man.
The guys beat us to it, but we are going to hit the streets of Venice and Hollywood and probably even North Carolina.
Yeah, even Greensboro.
And, do that, add that in there, and then some of our old characters will be back. That
Jesus,
people like. And then
Black Jesus, actually.
Black Jesus. And then we have some other ideas that are new. Kind of that we are going to incorporate to kind of mini series within the show, where like we'll have like a CSI type show within season 2 that you might want to watch every episode, just be like, I wonder what happens with the CSI stuff this time or whatever. So
I love that. Like thinking back to Key and Peele, some of my ones that make me laugh the most are the college football introduction of names.
Hilarious.
And then how they always bring Barack Obama's translator back in.
Yeah, we have one kind of similar to that as urban therapy. I think people are going to love that one.
We have a lot of good sketches lined up for season 2. And what people can also expect is we're going to give people the behind the scenes look. So we filmed a lot of content in 2020 when we were out in California. The move out there, our experience out there, COVID, sleeping on air mattresses, eating ramen noodles.
Working in Skid Row.
Working in the basements of
with rats, roaches.
This is what people want to see, man.
Yeah, so what he was saying, we are going to put out also outside of season 2, you're also going to get a vlog of me and my white friend moved to Hollywood.
Yeah.
So that's really just going to be the camera footage from our camera phone and the stuff that we took while we out there, and then little pieces where we're talking about it, telling you our experience, but mostly you're getting footage straight from our phone that we're going to make into little episodes. And like you said, people want to see that stuff as much as we can show on there. We're going to show and as much as we remember to record.
Right. And if that's not enough for you, we have a movie for you.
Yeah, we're working on the movie, but that's later next year.
Well, I got a few questions around that. We'll touch on that. Okay. Great segue. Fun, while you guys are doing that, what do you think the funniest thing that has happened that will never make camera?
I got one that just comes to my head first, but I don't know.
Well, that's the one we want to hear. Whatever pops right in your head.
Hold on. So the funniest,
just all those shenanigans. Like, did a rat come up and you shared some ramen with the rat on the air mattress? What's the funniest thing that's just never gonna make production camera?
Well, this might, but it depends. I don't know. One night we had left the place we were working. We were working with this guy who was doing some underground growing.
Underground is without implementing ourselves.
And so which is no longer. Yeah,
it was common. We don't know if it's no longer or not. We have no idea.
Okay. I don't know.
We have no idea if it's no longer or not.
Right. But anyways, this guy, we gave him a ride home, and he was like, "Hey, you want to go to Figueroa Street?" And we were like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." I shit you not, every corner had a hooker.
Yeah.
Or two or three.
Yeah, this is
I
when
promise
we first
you.
got out there. So we didn't know what Figueroa Street was about. But yeah.
I thought you were going to a coffee shop.
We're like, okay, cool. Because in North Carolina, well, at least here, I mean, there's not a hooker around every corner, but
Right.
maybe a couple
That we know about.
But right. So that was kind of interesting. Then also one night, right before we were supposed to be on production, we dropped some acid.
That was a fun night. Right.
Was this the night the rat was eating the ramen with?
The day I remember that I won't forget is another afternoon working in Skid Row. Work day's about done. And do you remember there was this woman was like Amazon, like, and I'm not even exaggerating. You know how people exaggerate? No, she was literally probably like 6'4".
Yeah.
6'3", 6'4" woman, black woman. Big, I mean like built. And I guess she's homeless, but we called her like the Queen of Skid Row because she actually would like walk around naked and be like cussing like, oh, that. And she was I'm talking like linebacker built, abs. Titties were even muscular. Arms cut way big. She was muscular. Do you not remember? I'm gonna tell you what I remember.
Okay.
So she started walking over to us and a group of guys. Mars behind me, and then so she's walking over, and then I look back and he's not behind me. Like if this was. Say this is outside and you can see the girl. Marv just kind of slid off like I remember he was coming out of the wall and the closer he got, he was just like,
Nope.
like he's like, I want to see her naked. I'm gonna make sure that's a coochie right there, but she's a little too big and black for me. But do you remember hiding? He hid in the back, and I think she was just asking for water or something. But she was so intimidating. Like the cops didn't even. They never arrested her. They just kind of let her do her thing, and just in general, working in Skid Row was just wild.
It is wild. It's
that was
also
a wild time.
It's also really sad to see. But the one thing I remember is we were, and this is maybe too much, but one morning, 8:00 in the morning, we had just gotten breakfast at a biscuit place. We drive up. We get there early, waiting for Fernando to open the gate. Mm-hmm. And this woman grabs like a paper towel or napkin or something off the ground and proceeds to put it down her front side to wipe herself.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was.
So y'all saw,
Like we saw
you saw some shit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then also, we weren't there. Like we had left maybe like 15, 20 minutes before this happened, but someone got shot and killed outside of where we were working.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
It was a wild time. It was fun, but it was one of those things where we first got to LA, we were able to find a little side hustle gig where we could get paid cash,
Right.
and we were doing that until we got on set. And thankfully, what's funny is a lot of what we were doing in the beginning was just kind of like helping clear the space, and we were like just working in a big old dumpster that you can rent. And then, well, my first day on set, it was your second day on set, but we got this set job from a friend. Shout out to Tiffany Luard. She's also a Greensboro
Yep.
native.
Shout out to Tiff.
And she put in a word to get us on set. and we got to work with Wheeler Dealers, one of the Discovery Channel show. And our first day there, we were pretty much working in a dumpster or rental dumpster and throwing stuff away. So at the same time, whatever your religious beliefs or God, the universe, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to call it, we felt like the synchronicity, like though that time in Skid Row, you were like, what am I doing here? That's not what I'm doing. But it actually prepared us for our first day. We were doing the same thing as far as cleaning and throwing stuff out that we were doing on Skid Row.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, it just showed you guys, sometimes you don't think you're in the right place at the right time, but you are, you know, even in underground Skid Row, it's still maybe preparing you for where you want to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was a big part of our journey. And then once we got on set, we didn't get off, you know, like we, you know, go from job to job and eventually was able to wing off the underground job. Yeah. Okay.
So Reggie has done a lot of networking out there, from just staying out there, being out there. And of course, 2021, my wife and I, we were pregnant with our second child, and so now he just turned 3. Fitz. I love my kids. And but yeah, Reggie's done a lot of networking for us out there. So,
and that's the whole point of really just still being out there. You know, we'll tell any content creator, you know, we're in a day and age where you can make content anywhere. You don't have to be in Atlanta or New York or California.
And the film scene in North Carolina has really grown over the past couple years.
I think
it's still growing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very prevalent within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
But the only, you know, again, like places like that, it is good for networking. You never know who you're going to run into, and we have ran into some producers and people who we plan on doing business with in the future. So that's really the perk of being out there.
Don't let Reg. Don't play with him. Yeah. Listen, let's go ahead and name drop here. Reg just worked with who? Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre.
Yeah, that was fun.
Who
Dr.
else?
Dre,
Martha Stewart.
Yeah, Martha Stewart. King Batch. Recently. Just a lot of
worked on the
promotion.
new Wesley Snipes promotion team.
Yeah. The new Beverly Hills Cop, that promotion teams. Jerry Seinfeld's most recent movie. A lot of Netflix stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I met Jay Farrell at the last party. He was really cool. He follows us now. So if you go to our Instagram, you see Jay Farrell follows me and my white friend, and he would told us like, you know, he's like, keep doing what you're doing. Like, don't edit your content because of what people say. Like, keep doing what you're doing. And so, you know, like I said, it's literally for the networking, you know. After leaving home, I hadn't lived in a lot of other states. So after leaving home, you do realize how much of a jewel North Carolina is. You know, we're so green, cost of living. To me, we're actually more diverse than LA, you know, and I mean, if you think about, you know, you got Chinatown, K-Town, Inglewood, Compton, the Valley, but it's so, you know, Latinos, Mexicans here, Filipinos, Vietnamese, they're here, Blacks here. So it's way more, where here it's like that, but it's very diverse.
Right.
Very diverse, you know. Yeah. So, but it's perks for both sides, like not bashing California at all. It's a beautiful state, great for the entertainment industry, but like in the day and age that we're in, we always talk about it with the web and us moving to Web 3 and everything. You can build your brand wherever you're at. You know, you don't have to move to make something happen.
Love that. And I'm going to segue into some rapid fire questions that I like to do. And I'm really excited about this with you guys because we talked about this before we sat down. And, you know, Thomas, you're normally behind the camera here. So now you're in front of it.
Right.
And we had just met this morning. I've heard a lot about you, and obviously I've watched some of the sketches on the show. But I've just had no idea like what I was gonna get back from the other side of the table, and it's been a little uncomfortable at times. It's hilarious. I love it. So moving into these random questions, I really cannot wait to hear what we get back. All right. Rapid fire questions. Let's see. Which one do I want to go with? Let's just start with some fun facts. What's the most ridiculous fact that you know?
Just in general.
Anything in general.
That's a good one.
It's like you ever sitting around and you're like, hey, did you know that blah 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 blah.
Huh. Go ahead, Marv. I'll let you take that one first.
Oh man.
You got me stumped now.
I know you have me thinking.
Because you wanted to say something deep, like, oh, I'm surprised you knew that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't want to say something so silly like
so
that's
simple,
the fact
like,
you
right,
choose.
that's what you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you know the sun is 800 light years away? I don't know. how far
Right.
it is, man.
Oh, here's a fact for you. Did you know that there's no flight patterns over the Antarctic?
No what?
Antarctica, sorry. There are no flight patterns
Oh, flight patterns.
over or near Antarctica.
Oh.
Oh.
Are you getting into flat Earth
Are we
stuff?
going-
You getting into flat Earth stuff? Is that
Listen,
Lord.
I mean, listen, I could talk about. All I know is that there's a lot of secrecy around Antarctica. I feel like in the ice
Yo,
walls.
I wish I could chime my brother in right now. So my brother was an airline pilot. And my wife called him. She was like having a drink with somebody who's a flat earther. I'm not going to say names.
Yeah.
And she was like, let me call my brother-in-law. He used to be pilot. And my brother didn't realize he was on speakerphone and the other person could hear him. He was like, you need to get out of that conversation right now.
What?
That person's a moron. And that person's like sitting there listening.
Yeah,
I don't know that's what he said. But
Now,
it
I'm not
was
saying
like,
I'm a flat earther. I'm just
I
saying.
know. I'm
Yeah,
just
saying that's because I feel like they're doing something there.
does
maybe
one
I
really
don't know.
need to fly over Antarctica though?
Probably
Like, at what
not.
point-
But if it's a straight path, yeah, you're telling me that if you could take a straight path, even over the little clip of Antarctica, but then you gotta go this way and over here, and
You sounding real flat earthy to me. To not be.
I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying.
Like, I'm not saying we didn't land on the moon, but
Right.
you know,
Right.
Yeah, well, that's
That's,
your-
I didn't know
that's
that. By the way, I
yeah.
learned something new.
I've seen that, but again, it was flat Earth videos. That's why. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna switch gears on you.
Okay.
So we'll move from the fun fact. Useless talent. What's the most useless talent you have?
Useless talent, which you probably would think is useful, but I can do my tongue like this.
Okay. The
Okay.
clover?
The little clover thing.
Yeah, I got
yeah,
you.
Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, it could be useful for the ladies, you know, but.
If any plus size models listening.
Right.
Right.
Plus size when I was listening.
Reggie's
Reg
got a cool tongue.
I can do the clover tongue. Just,
Just saying.
just saying, right. You got a hidden talent?
I don't a hidden talent.
Useless.
Oh, useless.
Useless.
Oh, useless.
Useless.
Yeah.
Useless talent. I can. I don't know. I crack on my knuckles at the same time. I don't know.
Okay.
That's pretty useful.
Yeah.
Some would say that's very useful too.
Oh, yeah,
I got you.
Release that pressure in the fingers.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know why, Thomas. I just look at you and I say, he knows the answer to this question.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
If you were a professional wrestler, what would your stage name be?
Oh, probably. Probably.
Mine would be CP time.
CP time.
CV
And
time.
now, coming to the ring, CP time. I come out 5 minutes later.
Probably.
Your intro music's a 10-minute song.
Right.
Probably Big Marv.
Big Marv.
Big
Big
Marv.
Marv.
Okay.
That's my wrestling name.
What would your finisher be?
My finisher.
Yeah.
Probably sit on him.
The first image I got was
Probably
like
just fart on
Mankind
him.
with his little glove. Like,
Yeah. That's it. Didn't we have a sketch where I was like, you could be Mankind? I always told him with the right mask and stuff, he
Yeah.
kind of gives me a Mankind vibe. I don't know if
Right.
you watch wrestling like that, but
I'm not like that. A little bit.
well,
but
Andrew, could you see what I'm saying? A little Mankind,
It popped
a little
into my
bit.
head,
Yeah,
too.
if
I
you
know,
throw a
you just-
mask on. Yeah.
And again, maybe that was just me assuming things, but you just look like somebody that had some Monday Night Raw experience.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I mean,
That was he was the most ridiculous. Like
Mankind was that
his
guy.
finisher was he would like stick
Yeah.
2 fingers down the bottom of your mouth
With the sock,
with
right?
the sock on.
Yeah, with the sock. Yeah. See, I would tell you something. Surprisingly, Marv is very artsy, right? Like, far as you went to the middle college or Gifford College.
I was in band in middle
was in
school,
band,
I was
yeah.
theater, and
Yeah.
got into the film.
Yeah, so he
You know.
wasn't really like the artsy football, like wrestling. It was more like art.
I went
artsy,
to the
creative.
I went to a few football games, but I like to watch sports. But I just don't like to. I mean, I'll play golf, play a little bit of soccer.
He's a creative. He's a
You
creative.
know,
You would be
but-
surprised.
yeah.
I was in band with you.
Yeah, that's right. You played the
Saxophone.
saxophone. That's right. That's right.
I'm a sax man.
That's right.
Yeah, saxophone, marching band. I went to all two.
You
up
remember
until
Miss
senior year.
Council?
Remember Miss Council? Yeah.
You see, that's something the people don't know, that y'all went to.
Yeah, we went to middle
together.
school and high school together.
Okay.
Kaiser, she was our band director at Kaiser.
Yeah, Kaiser, and then we went to Grimsley.
Dr. Stuber.
Dr. Stuber, yeah.
Grimsley Whirly.
Yeah, little Whirlies.
So
Dub G Hornet in the
is he
house.
still there?
All right.
I'm not sure, man. I'm so disconnected from it.
Oh,
I coached
wow.
the golf team over there.
That's it. Yeah.
I don't know if this is. I won't say that yet. I don't know if that's common knowledge, but
Oh, what's
some cool stuff there that I'm personally excited about
Oh,
from
cool,
an athletic
cool.
standpoint.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah. So, karaoke song. What's our go-to?
That's a good question.
I mean, you guys are on the radio station. You gotta know music.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I try to go with, because I do go to karaoke probably like 2-3 times a month, but I don't really sing. I love the people watch. That's one thing. I love the people watch in general. Like, we go somewhere, a lot of people, I like to sit down and just watch people. The other reason I like karaoke is that people are really performing, right? So one thing that we both are working on is our stage presence, because we will eventually have like a live tour, and we'll incorporate it with stand up. And I have my stand up bits. We're basically hosting, but it's like stand up. And then we do want to have musical guests and other comedians. So that'll be coming up in the works too, like a mini tour, which might happen before the end of the year. We're sitting down looking at our calendar and talking to some people now about that. So we may be able to get that on the road before the end of the year. But to answer the question, I try to go with popular songs that everybody knows. So right now, I probably would do something like, Rocket Man, Elton John, something that people know. Anything familiar, like, off the top of my head, it's not clicking, but I'll go to that playlist, and if it's something that, like, okay, everybody knows this, that's the ones that you want to use for karaoke.
Crowd pleaser.
Crowd pleaser. You can't go wrong. Even if you sound bad, you can't go wrong with a crowd
You know
pleaser.
the song "My Girl"? That's my go-to. My girl. Yeah.
Talking about, everybody knows that though. Yeah.
My girl.
Yeah, that's another thing. Mark, he thinks he can sing too. He really.
Well,
And then hit me, baby, one more time. Hit me, baby, one more time.
Okay.
so that's that same night. You just hit him with
Both.
My Girl,
Right.
which I
Both,
think
right.
is
Right.
and then just straight to Britney
Come back
Spears.
with the
Sure, why
Britney.
not?
Yeah.
That's
I don't
fine.
know how
Yeah.
you follow that up, man. I just
Now-
imagine Ashley sitting down in the crowd like, well, that's my husband.
Right.
Yes.
I'm gonna stick beside him.
That's my man.
Yeah.
I'm his girl.
Right.
I love that. And then, like, when you were talking about all I can think is Reggie's picking this. He's analyzing the crowd.
Analyze the crowd. Yeah,
And
100%.
it's like, what song is she gonna really get into?
Right. What is she gonna
What
know?
is she gonna sing? I need to get her energy levels up.
Yep.
There might be a blunt in her future.
Yeah.
Let's-
There might be more than a blunt in her future.
Jesus. Oh man, let's see. I got one more. All right,
Yeah.
this instantly an expert in anything. Just overnight expert. What would you want to be an expert in?
Ooh. How to fly a plane.
That's a great one.
How to fly a plane.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a clever one.
Yeah.
If I
Because I love flying, so I mean, I would want to learn how to fly.
Just not over Antarctica.
Right. Right.
if an instant expert, I would probably say something like stockbroker, or like I'm kind of into it now and trading and stuff now. But if like instant expert, where I can make
Hey, this is the man that put me on to cryptocurrency,
yes,
and so
I'm a big
so
crypto
we were
guy,
talking.
too.
Andrew, we've talked a
Crypto
little
has
bit.
come up
had
on,
a good month last month too.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, and even though the market's down,
S&P's killing it right now. Not that I know about stocks, but I read an article. So that was my bathroom reading. This morning.
Right,
What is
right.
seeing it? Oh, S&P.
SP's
Look at
doing
that.
good
Hey.
today.
Hey.
Right.
You know, it's funny. I've never, when I was reading that question, like that somehow would have been one of the last things that popped in my mind.
Yeah.
But when you think about becoming why wouldn't you want to become some financial expert? Over
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right,
very
right.
true. I mean,
I mean, I don't feel like I've ever, well, it's not necessarily true, but I feel like anybody that is a financial expert, at some point, if I'm sitting down with them, I either learn something or I'm like, man, they just got it.
yeah.
It's like, I don't know. That's a good one.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting there, but like you said, if it was overnight, the little pieces that I'm still working on, oh yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll move on from rapid fire.
I like rapid fire. That was-
Yeah.
that
No,
was good.
it's fun. So, kind of wrapping up the episode. Thank you guys again for being here.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you for having us.
It's
Thank
cool. You know, I'm just meeting you. Love your energy.
Thank you.
I've heard a lot about you. I've watched some sketches. And then, you know, obviously growing up in our teenage years to now and starting to collab on some stuff now, it's just cool to see good people following what they want to do, you know, from the basements of Skid Row to who knows where that's going to take you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I thank you guys for giving me some of your time.
Thank
I know
you.
that
Absolutely.
time is not always available. So thank you guys for giving me and the show. And one more little note before we wrap. You threw it in here. You mentioned it. There may be a movie on the horizon as well. So
Yes.
if the movie's coming, what's the plot? Just give me, I don't want to, no spoilers, but what is the plot? Let me live in it. Let me marinate in it.
So basically, it's very similar, but it's basically two guys who work at the radio station. One as like a janitor, and one as I think maybe digital, or Reggie keeping his position that he had, and somehow I managed to get on air. Just kind of joking around, playing with the board while I'm working one day, and it goes over the air, and I say something I'm not supposed to. I get fired.
So I'm gonna read the plot. I'm gonna read the
Okay,
plot.
well, okay, read the plot. Okay, because I could go on for a little bit.
I'm gonna read the plot.
There you go.
Thomas will give us the whole script.
Yeah. And then
when
he
I
got
said
shot in
this-
his ass. No, it was. This is what we got. It's two stoner entrepreneurs, Reggie, Reg, and Marv, find themselves in business with the wrong crowd after their service business surpasses their expectations. So basically, kind of like you said, we're
starts off where we get canned or
we're
fired.
stoners. We're kind of not in the career that we want to be. We have business ideas. We kind of start like a delivery service, and then we get caught up in the wrong crowd in the delivery service.
Yeah,
Basically.
we end up delivering some things that we don't know that we're delivering.
Right, right. And then we kind of go from there. The adventure starts from there.
So it's a comedy for sure. then.
Yes.
Yeah, 100% it's a comedy.
Like we weren't going to go from the sketch comedy and be like, we're going to have like this crime drama.
Right.
Now there might be a little action to it, a little bit of action, but definitely comedy.
Yeah, definitely comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well,
that's gonna be
we
fun.
won't put much. That was just a teaser.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited about that, and hope you guys are able to bring that idea to fruition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before
Yes.
we wrap, is there anything else that your following, your viewers, the people of Greensboro, that you would just want to share about yourselves, your show, your mission before we wrap up.
Don't take life too seriously. Laugh often, love often, and just don't take life so seriously.
I like that.
That's it. I mean, that's it.
Hey, Marv. Okay.
I wasn't ready.
Right. I don't know if I can follow that up. Exactly what he said. It's all about love. It's all about like you
Understanding,
said, understanding people, laughing with people, and again, just remember we got more that brings us together than separates us.
Right.
A lot of stuff that you may feel is regular in your life, or it should be like this, it may be subjective, so just enjoy life, have fun, and like I said, just work every day to kind of be at your own peace. If your energy's right, the people around you can feel it, and you'll attract the things you want in your life. I'm really big on that. It's just like seeing it, thinking it, and then making it manifest. And for us, it went from an idea at the radio station, and we didn't know what we were going to call it, on a piece of paper. One of our things we say, thoughts become things. Thoughts become things. Negative thoughts or positive thoughts. Thoughts become things. So just like you, this podcast was a thought at one time, right? And you put the energy behind it, and now it's a reality. So same for us. Thoughts become things. If whatever you want to do, I know it sounds cliche, but you can do it.
It's true.
Yeah, like whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. So that would be my final thought. And support us. Follow. If you haven't followed us now, go follow me and my white friend. We're on all platforms: TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Wherever we even at our podcast is on all podcast streaming. We have 33 episodes. Podcast wise, where we talk about a variety of subjects.
meandmywhitefriend.com.
Yeah, the website, meandmywhitefriend.com. Just follow us, support. We do this for, we love repping North Carolina, and, and like I said, we just do this to bring people together. So,
yeah.
So I'm going to rewind. You said thoughts become
things.
Thoughts become things.
Yes.
Well, it took us the entire episode, but I think we have our title. Normally like in songs, it's like in the chorus or the movie, it's like boom, right in front of you. We wait till the last 30 seconds of the episode. But thoughts become things, bringing people together. That's what I think this episode should be called.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's beautiful.
I love that. Yeah.
Well, guys, again, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you.
Can't wait to see the new stuff. And I hope for y'all and for anybody around you, I hope this, from that one viral video that went from, we had 500 followers to 20,000 and the Facebook over 100K, and, starting throwing things in a dumpster, but then getting in rooms where people are probably throwing things in a dumpster for you, and just that progression.
Yes.
I hope you just keep taking off, guys. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We received that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we got some good guests coming up. We had some great folks today. Appreciate y'all watching episode 14, and thank you.
Woo.
Peace.